So welcome everybody. I'm Dee Dee Russell, and today we have Caitlin and Connor with us. I want you two to introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Connor. So nice to meet everyone virtually. Such a strange world we live in, but so excited to be here. By day, I'm at Mame Zone with Karen and Ken, and by night we do weddings, and Caitlin is actually their daughter. So it's all in the family. I'm like their fourth honorary daughter, and I love it. And we get to do wedding venue stuff all day, every day, and it's so much fun, and we're so passionate about it, and we're just so excited to help everybody and work together. It's a great, great job.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Miller, former Moise. I'm in New York City, so a little removed from the Dripping Springs, Austin area, but still very much attached remotely, helping out with Mama Zone from afar. And then, of course, part of the We Do Weddings team now. So I'm family from afar now, but I still love being in the wedding industry. By day, I'm actually a production manager for a dance school. So I honestly think there's a lot of crossover between a production and weddings, because a wedding, in my opinion, is a production. So lots of crossovers in my full-time work with, and also my side work with We Do Weddings and Mama Zone. So that's kind of a fun little tidbit about myself. But and yes, love working with Connor. We are the ladies of We Do Weddings, and really excited to be here.
Well, the reason all of us get together is because creatively there's so much to chat about and discuss in the wedding industry. A lot of it that we see is front end, and that's beautiful and lovely, but there is a whole crazy, chaotic, beautiful symphony of bizarre and amazing things that happen behind the scenes. Especially with our wedding venue owners. I manage the wedding venue owners and managers community on Facebook. If you haven't found it, I will list the link in the video. Please join us there. And then also weddingvenueowners.com. But I like to take some of the topics that are really important to our wedding venue owners. And then Caitlin and Connor and I just kind of, put in our tips of, years and years of experience, from production company to mom chaos to real life, and then behind the scenes at in Austin. So one of the things that has been coming up so much lately, and I'm very excited to kind of get to this, is wedding content for your website, your social media. So this week we had already planned on this topic when Angel, Lonesome Dove near Houston, posted a screenshot of a group where she had seen the couple, the brides, and a long feed complaining that every time they go to the wedding venues, they are not seeing real images of the venues. And we had already planned to talk about this. So I'm very excited that she backed up this thought process of this, how absolutely important it is to have this content, and why, with the brides noticing that when they're going to websites, they're seeing pictures of the flower bouquet close up, or the centerpieces close up, or the couples in the field. I mean, is there a venue that's in that field somewhere? What's happening here? Is it just a field? Is it outdoor? I don't even know if it's a wedding venue. I'm not sure. I see teacups and wedding cakes. So what is this business? So it was funny that I actually got that screenshot and it was shared in the group to kind of confirm what we've been talking about along, and that is there's such incredible value with content. So one of the things that stumps our venue owners is, how do I get this content? So Caitlin and Connor, you have so much experience with vendor relationships and things like that. This is one thing that really slips up our venue owners, is how do I get the content?
Such a good question. Both sides of Mame Zone and We Do Weddings, first and foremost, we are big believers in community and support and knowing who you're working with, and not even knowing them, but loving them. So, it starts at Mame Zone originally for us because we've been doing that longer. And all of our vendor friends are people that have come to the venue time and time again. And we've done things even outside of weddings with them. I think that's so key because, by day, yes, weddings are what we do. It's the bread and butter, but it's also our work. So why not do things that are fun and even more connective than just working, an 8 a.m. to a midnight wedding. So we do vendor parties. We do things where we really try to connect with people. We do photo shoots with them. We involve everyone at our open houses. Our open houses are simply humongous because we love our vendors so much and we want to give them that exposure to couples. And so anything that we kind of do outside of a wedding, we have our vendor friends in mind. And, you know, even if we're just talking to a couple, like, hey guys, we know you're getting married at Mont Maison here in a couple months, but we know you have your rehearsal. We know we have a bridal shower. Have you talked to this caterer? Have you thought about using this balloon company? There's so many ways to support each other. And I think ultimately by making those connections and supporting one another, it just breeds this positivity of when a wedding happens, it's going to be so much easier to get those pictures. Or if you want to put together a photo shoot, it's going to be so much easier to collaborate and make something beautiful to showcase your venue, to showcase every element that you really want to show your brides and grooms. It just makes it so much better because you have that relationship and it's fun and it's helpful to all. Because even just showing off the venue, when you look at a picture of a venue, how many things are you actually looking at? You're looking at the venue. You're looking at who planned the space. You're looking at who photographed the space. You're looking at the florals in there. You're looking at the rentals that are in there. It just goes on and on and on. And it's such a, hey, I love you, vendor. Well, guess what, venue? We love you back. And so it just is such a nice relationship, really. And again, that goes into, you know, we do weddings as well because we do photo shoots. That's how we get our venues involved. It's an extra little way to show love to them. Like once you become a partner, if we do weddings, we try to make a photo shoot happen where it's going to showcase your beautiful venue in a whole new way. We try to think of really fun and original ideas and go to the venue and bring this inspiration to life. And it's fun. I love it. It's my favorite part of the job.
Well, I just want to butt in there real quick because it's not just the photo shoots that you all put together. I mean, these are branding, elevating experiences where the best local vendors, those qualified professionals, are elevating the brand of that venue that you're working with. And that is what a lot of people don't really get and understand. I think, Karen, when you go through Mont Maison, you see the Mont Maison, the Mont Maison. You see it on the doors, you see it everywhere, and it's elegant and beautiful. But the thing that I love about that is wherever someone's taking a shot, where everyone's going to do a selfie or the group photos at the wedding, almost guaranteed that the Mont Maison branding is going to show up in those images. And I love that. And so with the styled shoots and getting content there, it is one thing to do the kind of necessity thing that you do when you first open up and you don't have any. It's a whole different thing to put together a dream team that is going to elevate your brand and help you connect with the target audience that is going to pay, not only be able to afford your venue wherever you sit in that margin, but that is going to value you. And that's a big difference. So we do wedding venues that are listed on We Do Weddings are getting so much incredible value there, because I've seen some of the style shoots that happen at Mont Maison. They are mind-blowing. Wow. The teamwork that goes over there, you guys have proven that you've loved up your vendors because they are very loyal to supporting and developing and doing what they need to Mont Maison. And it kind of goes back to don't just have an entitled mentality that your photographers, you're entitled to their photos and they're just going to give them to you really quick whenever you want. You have to develop that. So Caitlin, what about you? You're on the production side of things. What is your expert advice?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think building that relationship, kind of like what Connor was touching on and as you were just too, because I think it can feel a little bit like when we do style shoots specifically, I'm always, want to be right there with the photographer, not only just kind of, being like seeing the shots they're getting, but getting to know them, like what's their, I want to say what's their angle, but that's a little too on the nose. But what is their process like? How do they work? And I think that is really great to know too, because when then you meet a couple and you are maybe, saying, oh, I think this photographer would be really good for your style or your wedding day, you actually know the actual personality of that wedding photographer. Are they a team? Is it a husband and wife couple that you just like could see working really well for one of your couples that has booked your venue? But one of the things I love most about working with different photographers, especially like on style shoots, is seeing how they see the venue for the first time. Because obviously, like we at Mama Zone, like we know the Green Cathedral is like one of our biggest selling points. I love it. I actually helped my dad put it together few years ago, a long time ago. But so like, it's something very special to me, but we always see that green cathedral pic. And again, nothing wrong with it. It's gorgeous. But my favorite is when we get a photographer out there at Mama's Own or another venue or style shoot, and they find an angle of some sort with like at the chapel in the background, or we're in the chapel and they put this couch in front of this wall and you see this picture and you're like, where is this picture taken? Like that actually happened at Mama's Own. My mom actually, or Karen, excuse me, saw this picture. She goes, I think that's in the Great Hall. And we like couldn't figure out where this photographer had set this style shoot photo up, and it was gorgeous. So just like literally finding those new angles that, you know, maybe you're just so used to as a wedding venue owner seeing, because you know your venue so well, obviously from top to bottom, but just kind of seeing it through a new lens. Again, I'm all the cliches today, so excuse my cliches.
We're gonna turn this into a drinking game. So every time every time Caitlin has a photography pun, you have to take a drink, and you'll not drive. No driving.
Cheers.
While you're watching this. Well, right. I want to kind of touch on one of those things, and that is, this is definitely how innovation is encouraged. We get very stuck in our relationships sometimes. That first guy that came out there, that first photographer that came out there, we're like, okay, do all the work. I don't have time for that anyway, you go. And it's convenient and it's helpful. Or we have two photographers that continuously give us the information without ever having to ask them. They know our venue inside and out. They're wonderful. They're in our bridal price range or our wedding price range. They meet a lot of those boxes, but don't ever, try to remember that if you want to encourage innovation, you have to be open to new relationships. You have to kind of, test these new relationships that come along sometimes, and obviously do your research, be cautious, proceed with caution, but this is how innovation happens. Can I be honest? Do we really want another hanging dress? If you can make that innovative where it's something I've never seen before, okay. But listen, we're getting some exciting stuff that comes through these amazing photographers. They're thinking of different things. If the bride wants that shot, the photographer is going to be like, okay, I got to sing this cover song one more time. It's like being in a band and having to sing it every time you go, I'll do it. It's fine. It's the standard one. The rings in the flower. We'll do that. But if you want innovation, you have to really understand that developing those relationships is what is going to bring you those innovative photographers that are brilliant, that get you published, that take it to the next level, that again, see your venue through different eyes. So, stagnant relationships don't always bring innovation, and comfortable relationships. There's nothing wrong with those. There's value and convenience, but innovation and, getting those pictures that might go viral and that content that might go viral, keep an open mind to new relationships.
Well, and on top of that, there's something to be said that if you use the same people over and over and over, you're going to get similar results over and over and over. And that's fine if you have one type of niche group of people that you want to book. But if you want to book the boho wedding, if you want to book the classical wedding, if you want to book, there's so many different types of brides, grooms, and themes to weddings. So if you end up not being the same note, you're going to really resonate with different types of couples, all different types of couples, which opens you up to all different types of bookings and more bookings, which is what people ultimately want.
And for those of you venue owners out there who have never had a South Asian wedding or an African wedding or Indian wedding, those incredible 300 and 400 with the vibrant colors and the amazing rich culture, there are incredible photographers right now in your area that you may not have connected and bonded with. Invite them to your venue, invite them to connect with you. A relationship with them is so incredibly valuable. You always, those of you who are really interested in opening up your venue and being, open to a lot of different diversity and all of the beautiful cultures that are available out there, might be missing this market because you're not connecting with some of those photographers. So look up, some of those cultural wedding photographers that are in your market. And then another one to look up and to Google is the surprise proposal photographer or the engagement photographer. That photographer is incredible. And you know what? He might actually be the one photographer that gets a couple before you do. So a lot of vendors, venue owners will say, oh, I don't, why do I have to chase down relationships or deal with all that? They need me. I'm the one that books the venue. And so there is some truth to that, sure. But, if you want the best working relationships with the best professionals, because you want to be the best venue, charging the top fees for your venue and maintaining your brand and always elevating, those relationships are very important. If you, John Fleming is one of my favorite photographers in DC. If you look up Surprise Proposal, he is drawing in clients from New York, from all over the country, and having the most incredible Washington, DC monuments in the backdrop. He knows how to get there. He knows how to shoot around them. He knows how to get his clients there and get these incredible photos. Imagine working with this, this amazing photographer and the clientele he has coming in from New York and all that. They're already in love with DC and that market because he's, been able to capture them while they're here, and then send them out to your venue or connect them or what have you. There's a lot of brilliant value there. And one thing that a lot of venues don't show on their pages are those engagement shots. So engagement shots really blow up and go crazy, and people love them. So I really recommend Googling some of those and reaching out and imagining as far as content and your deep desire to always have a lot of great content. Engagement shots are beautiful and wonderful, and people go crazy for them online. So
they do. I can attest to that. Whenever I post on the Mame Zone page, people are like, oh, that could be me. And I'm like, yes, that could be you.
Okay, so you two are really masters. You're running a lot of social media. You're posting, you're commenting. When a business has outsourced their social media, sometimes that is a very wise decision. Sometimes you just don't have time and it's not your passion, and that is okay. But you do have to keep an eye on what's happening there, because your website is your absolute best sales rep. And you own that. It's yours. It is your creative, your intellectual property. All of your information is there. And every couple is going to visit your website. Now, what the couples were complaining about in that Facebook post was that when they go to your website, there's not enough images. And they're going through all of these kind of fluff images with just flowers or decor or whatever to try and figure out what your venue looks like. So a lot of venues will come back and say, well, that's why we have our Pinterest link there, or that's why we have our Instagram link there. That's great. Please get a gallery and invest in that. But the social links are great. What happens when I am researching wedding venues, I will probably visit 100 to 300 wedding venue websites a week. And immediately I can see that I'm not going to get a lot of good gallery images or a lot of good images. The venue personally picked these out of what they were given probably and thought, oh, that's a lovely picture. I would say on your website, know what your top 10 venue assets are, and you should be rotating those through all the time. Some people are lucky enough to have a top 20, like Karen and Lone Star out there in Dripping Springs too. They probably have a top 20 places around their venue. Imagine the places at your venue that don't look like any others, that stand out from all the rest, and that every bride wants to take a photo in front of. Those are the top places that sell your venue, and you should be rotating those through. Don't get locked into waiting for your photographers to do it either. You have a responsibility for yourself. So I always say to every venue owner, when the setup is happening and it's done, before it starts, go in there and take 5 to 10 videos. Horizontal is usually best. Do some vertical, and then horizontal and vertical images everywhere of your venue before crowd is in there, beautiful and set up, so that you don't have to wait for the photographer to give them to you. But for those social links, you two have so much insight on that. Huge pet peeve of mine is when I do try to click on the social link from your website and it does not work. Please, venue owners, I would say 60% of your social links do not work. So if you're watching this video, please go and check the homepage, your gallery page, your about all the pages, because if you did a template, your pages are not automatically going to have those links on every page. Sometimes your homepage Facebook link will work, but the other Facebook links throughout your website don't. So just check those. And then what is your advice as you are on those social media so much, posting and sharing? There's Pinterest, Instagram. Help us figure that out as venue owners, what to do and how often to post and what to post. And
Yes. Okay. Well, Caitlin, do you want me to jump in?
I feel like you're the master Instagram girl. She really is.
I don't know if I'm a master, but I definitely love it. And it's something that's constantly changing, constantly evolving. And, just for Mame Zone, I've only been doing that role since I came on 2 years ago. But in that time, we've gotten over 2,500 followers. So that's exciting. Growth is happening. And, for me, the biggest tip that I think really works for us is knowing the top 5 things that we want couples to see and that we want them to know about the venue. And that can be anything that you want it to be. For us, we really focus on, when you come to Mame Zone, how are you going to feel? Are you going to feel like you're at home? So you're going to see a lot of mentions of welcome home, or, Southern hospitality, French luxury mixed with Southern hospitality. We have a dog named Ellie that greets you on your tours. I just did that today. I mean, there's so many things for the 5 things that you want, the 5 pillars that are so important to showcase to your client, that you can expand on. You might think, okay, so Monday I have to do this, Tuesday I have to do this, Wednesday I have to do this. No. Be fun, be creative, mix it up. People want to see different things. And, speaking to the fact of having really beautiful pictures of your venue is so important. But on top of that too, what actually is performing better for us is actually seeing, what is my wedding going to look like in that beautiful space? People are loving the pictures of a fun reception. They love the pictures of the bride with the bridesmaids, clinking glasses and cheersing in the bridal suite. So not only do they see the bridal suite, but they know, oh my gosh, I'm going to get to do the Luxe Wed package in there, and I'm going to have champagne, and my girls and I are going to be getting ready and just having the best day ever. So we make it all about the experience. How are you going to feel when you come to Mame Zone? How are you going to feel when you come to tour, when you book us, when you have your wedding, and even after? Because we expand upon that too. Mame Zone is just not a one-stop shop. You can come there for your engagement shoot. You can come there for your wedding. You can come there for your maternity pictures. You can come there for your anniversaries. We have a darling couple that comes every single year and has a picnic on the grounds of the venue to celebrate their anniversary. So when you get married at Mame Zone, you are part of the family. So that's kind of, just how I'm talking right now. That's how I put our personality and our love into Instagram, into Facebook, into Pinterest, into all the aspects of where different people can find us. And then on the website too. And something to be said for the website is, we don't ever have stagnant pictures. We update it at least once a month. We put new faces in there, new people in there, new designs of what the most beautiful flowers we had that month. It just constantly changes. It freshens up. It lets people know that if you're looking at us in August and you still haven't booked and you come back in October, man, this place is pretty no matter what. So that's those are my little tidbits.
So Caitlin, from an operations and structure perspective, a lot of venue owners are like, oh, this doesn't work anyway. Or, one picture a month, or how often do we go to social media and we click on a picture and it's set? Facebook rats you out for sure. They put it right bold up there. Like, this was posted last September. And then your immediate thought is, well, venue isn't even open anymore, or something's wrong with this venue. So, to all venue owners watching this, first and foremost, this is a full-time job. If you can't handle it, get someone who can, but really respect the person that loves doing this and does it well for you, and cherish them because they're doing something great. So Caitlin, from your perspective with operations and management, what value does this bring when you are investing heavily in populating first of all, getting all of the pictures and taking the time to get the content, and then blasting it out on your channels?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing to remember, because kind of like we were talking about earlier, things can get so stagnant, and you can be like, I post this, but it's really to diversify your content, and don't be afraid to try something new. I think so many times, like, we just get kind of like in the run of the mill things, especially if you're doing your own social media and you think, oh, well, it's Wedding Wednesday, so I'll just post a pretty picture of a pretty wedding that happened 5 years ago. But like Connor's saying, that style may be kind of out of date. So you really need to keep your content fresh, which again does put a little bit more emphasis on you to keep up with those current wedding photos, tracking down those photographers. If you're able to source it out, that's great. But there is something to be said about keeping it fresh, keeping it up to date. My biggest thing is, though, when I go to a wedding venue website, is seeing not only what the venue is capable of, or the different spots that you can get married, but seeing the blank canvas version, but then seeing the actual the full shebang version. So I honestly, you know, some brides, it may not look as appealing just to see an empty great hall that has no tables, has no decor. But I kind of, for me personally, and this obviously, this could, you know, different brides, grooms, couples affect them differently. Maybe they kind of want to see the perspective of, what am I working with? What's my blank canvas? But then on the upside of that, you can show them, well, but then here's this amazing winter wonderland wedding we did recently or something. So you can see almost the scale of the capabilities of that space. Because some people, you know, are very visual, obviously. So for me personally, like, I need to see the winter wonderland picture to make sure, like, oh, that's exactly what I want. So I think, but there's some people, you know, who totally, that is not their style per se. And if that's on your, you know, website for your venue, they're gonna be like, well, that's not really my style. But if you show them that blank canvas, and again, I'm not saying like an ugly photo of just lights off of the great hall, you know, or, you know, just the empty ceremony site, but something that, you know, could allow them to have their own canvas to paint what they see. Because some people, I think, go into their wedding planning and have a very clear image of what they want. I think also one thing on websites, I would say don't put too many images, because I feel like some galleries, they just get overloaded. Like they almost upload the entire wedding gallery for somebody, and it's almost like overload. So like pick those top images that really show your venue and, you know, make it shine. And if that's outsourcing it and trusting someone to get it for you, that's great. Or if that's you doing the work, that's also great. So really just trusting that sometimes less is more, I think, when it comes to, especially when it comes to videos and pictures, but keeping it fresh also, I think, is one of the biggest things, like Connor was saying. Keep it fresh.
I love the comparables. So some brides need it to be fully decked out and all the makeup is on, and some people want to see the blank canvas and envision where they're at. So I love the idea of doing a little bit of video before and then tying it into a video after, showcasing both of those, the images before and after. If you're not comfortable with video, there's so much fun to be had. But the reminder here is that no one's more passionate about your venue than you are. And if you don't have time to do it properly, it is dollars and cents. It literally is, you are either spending the time and effort to grab the social or grab the content that sells your venue and having it on your website first and foremost, and then filtering it out to your social media channels that will bring people back to your website and lead to bookings. You know, not only that, but it is reaching your target audience. That wedding that was set up, that was your target audience. They booked with you. So when you're showing that wedding with those flowers and that dress at that price point for that dress, and the hair and makeup price point and all the price points that that couple used, it is going to reach those other couples at that price point. It's so incredibly valuable. And I can tell you, if you're saying that social media doesn't work, I'm sorry. The truth is, you're not doing it right. You're just not doing it right. And it's okay if you're not passionate about it or you have misgivings about it, but somebody out there could be doing it very well for you. You know, your staff that loves it or somebody else. So if you're not investing there, you're paying for it on those big wedding websites that are charging a fortune and not really connecting you where you need to go. You know, but that's a whole other video for a whole other time. And there's just so much that we could go in and cover, but I know we're running out of time, but that's okay, because twice a month we're going to get together and we're going to look at the posts and the topics that were in the wedding venue owners and managers group. And we're going to tackle some of that. I just want to remind you, the brides are talking about this. They were posting about it. They want to see what your venue looks like. Go to your socials and your website. And if you can't see what your venue looks like, it's just a field or a tree or a floral arrangement, your couples don't know anything about it. So I am going to share We Do Weddings links in here so that you can contact them if you need to have some matchmaking help with you and potential brides and grooms. And we're going to share Mon Maison so that you can see some of the ways that they manage their social media beautifully and wonderfully. And we will see all of you back here with Caitlin and Connor and me in 2 weeks from now.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, ladies. Thanks so much. It
Bye.
was good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks.